to Rogers TV. This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details. The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hello and welcome to the local campaign. Rogers TV is pleased to welcome you to the Carleton riding candidates debate. A debate organized as part of the federal election taking place on Monday, April 28th. I'm sure it's on all of your calendars already. Rogers TV has invited all candidates to participate in today's debate. And today we are very happy to welcome the three candidates who accepted our invitation, and they will share their ideas from their riding. And thank you very much for taking your time. I'd like to introduce all of our candidates. We have Mark Watson from the Green Party. We have Beth Prochaska from NDP, and we have Bruce Vanjoy from the Liberal Party. I will just let you know how the debate will unfold. We will begin with a 60-second welcome from each candidate. Then we will move on to question period. We will ask a question to a randomly selected candidate who will have 45 seconds for the first answer. Then we'll invite the candidates to debate the question for 2 minutes. And following the debate, the candidate to whom we pose the question will have 30 seconds for a reply. To conclude our session today, each candidate will have approximately 1 minute for closing remarks, and this time we will reverse the order. We wish you good luck. Thank you. So let's begin with the opening statement. We drew lots to see who would address us first, and it will be Mark Watson from the Green Party.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi, my name is Mark Watson, and I'm your candidate for the Green Party in Carleton. I'm running because I want to leave the planet cleaner and better than when we found it. I want to remind you that sustainability isn't just about the environment. Our economic model, our social safety nets, our security needs, everything we do as a country needs to be sustainable. For far too long, our governments have been plagued with short-term thinking. Short-term thinking has caused a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis, and now we have a sovereignty crisis. Our governments have been asleep at the switch, obsessed with political theater instead of building our futures. Since Canada's founding, our governments have either been conservative or liberals, and the mess we find ourselves today in is a direct consequence of their collective decisions. By voting Green, you will be voting for electoral reform and ultimately real change.
Thank you. I now invite Beth Prochaska from the New Democratic Party.
For the last 30 years, I've been a teacher in the public school system in the Ottawa region. As any teacher will tell you, our job consists of educating, but also advocating. Advocating for families in our school communities to access the social services many of them desperately need. Throughout the course of my career, I've seen the erosion of these services at the hands of both Conservative and Liberal governments. During this election campaign, as I've been going throughout Carleton, knocking on doors and listening to people's concerns, what comes up most is affordability. Liberals and Conservatives, as a result, are suddenly concerned about the working class Canadian, whereas making life more affordable for all Canadians is what the NDP has always fought for. The NDP under Tommy Douglas is the reason why universal health care was implemented in Canada years ago. It's also because of us that dental care and pharmacare became realities just last year. We are, and always have been, the ones who look out for Canadians. Thank you.
Thank you. I now invite Bruce Vanjoy from the Liberal Party.
I'm Bruce Vanjoy, and I'm running with Mark Carney's Liberals to be your Member of Parliament in Carleton. I've had a successful business career, contributed years of volunteer and leadership experience to our community, and because I care about the future, I've long advocated for and acted upon sustainability. Unlike Pierre Poilievre, I'm not a career politician. Running for office was not even in my plans until it became clear that someone needed to unseat him. That's why I started, not 2 weeks ago, but over 2 years ago, to begin my campaign to represent Carleton. In that time, I've personally knocked on over 15,000 doors and had thousands of conversations with voters. Within days, Canadians will vote in the most important election of our lifetimes. Carleton has the opportunity to stand up for Canada. I'm the only candidate that can defeat Pierre Poilievre, but I can't do it by myself. With your support, together we can.
Thank you, and thank you again, all of you, for showing up. And now we'll move on to question period. The first question is for Mark Watson for the Green Party. And the question is, you have been campaigning for several weeks, meeting with voters in Carleton, perhaps even going door to door. What are voters telling you? What is their top priority? And if elected, how will you address it? You will have 45 seconds to respond.
Yes, I've been meeting with lots of different people in our community, and cost of living has been a big concern for a lot of people. Sovereignty, protection of our democracy has been top of mind for many people. And many people have written to me also about the Palestinian issue. There are many issues affecting our community. And what we need more than ever is a government that will listen, that will develop progressive policies to build resiliency and to improve our standard of living.
Thank you very much. I invite all candidates to reply, and you'll have 2 minutes to do so.
What would the Green Party do to stand up to Donald Trump's tariffs on Canadian businesses?
The Green Party has many ideas on the question of security, national security to begin with. We would stop the F-35s, which is a colossal waste of money with the kill switches that they have. Mm-hmm. We would invest in building submarines, building icebreakers to protect our Northwest Passage. We would strengthen the CBC to protect our culture. We would build a national energy corridor using the steel and aluminum in our country to build a national electricity grid that provides green technology for the future. The Liberal Party
under Mark Carney, who was tailor-made for this crisis that we face as a result of Donald Trump's tariffs. He's got experience. The Liberal team has experience to stand up for Canadian businesses, for Canadian workers, and Canadian families to make sure that we can weather this storm. We need to weather this storm. It's an economic storm. You're quite right. There's also a political sovereignty storm that requires investment in our military to defend Canada. But also, we need to expand our trading relations with reliable partners around the world. We cannot count on the United States as we have in the past. That relationship is over. Perhaps it can be repaired one day, but that day is not now. The Liberal Party is ready, willing, and able.
Beth, do you have a comment?
Well, I was just going to say, I understand what you're saying. I have found that in the Liberal policy at this point, the focus has been on relations with the United States, with Donald Trump. And while I agree that that's very important, it seems like the average Canadian and the needs that are going to be created by this whole tariff thing are not being addressed by the Liberals as much as they should be.
This does conclude on this debate question, but I will give the floor to Mark Watson for the final reply for 30 seconds.
Yeah, Canada is the master of its own destiny. And as we are a trading nation based on rule of law, and we need to strengthen our bilateral relations, not just with within the provinces, break down barriers within the province and make Canada strong, but throughout the world, reconnect with friendly countries that respect the rule of law. Mm-hmm. And that's how we're going to make Canada very strong and defend and fight against Donald Trump.
Thank you. Thank you. The number 2 question will go to Beth Prochaska of the NDP. You'll have 45 seconds to respond, and that's why I just stopped you short the last time, because the question is, the uncertainty surrounding the tariffs imposed by the United States is creating great concern among Canadians. How do you plan to protect Canada from future financial challenges? You'll have 45 seconds to respond.
As always, the NDP is addressing this with the average Canadian worker in mind, and with the idea of protecting the average Canadian worker. We have come up with a number of different ways in which we can do that. One is supplementing the EI benefits that are right now not really meeting the needs of everyone. We are also going to invest in industry and invest in jobs so that if people are finding themselves without work as a result of the tariffs, that there will be supports for them. We are also trying to lower the cost of living for people by looking at grocery prices and affordability so that if people do find themselves without work, they will have a little bit of an easier time.
Great. I will open the floor for the debate that will last 2 minutes on this question.
The only way that we can respond to what's happening to the south of us, and we didn't create this challenge, but Canadians will respond to it, is we need to protect our industries. We need to protect our workers. We need to help people find new and good jobs, well-paying jobs, in perhaps areas that they haven't worked in before. Take, for example, the auto industry. There are immense skills that we've accumulated in our workforce, but they can be utilized in many different ways, including building a made in Canada auto industry.
Well, I asked this, what have the Liberals done in the last 10 years to support business? They've taken a very soft approach on investing in providing capital, providing the resource, providing innovation, providing an environment where businesses can grow. How do you explain after 10 years of Liberal government that our GDP is the lowest in over 50 countries around the world at 1%, compared to Ireland, which is at 70%, compared to the U.S., which is at 20% growth in GDP. This has been a colossal failure by the Liberal government. And the Green Party has a plan to build a more resilient, a stronger economy by supporting small business.
The Canadian economy is the envy of the world. We have a strong balance sheet. We supported Canadians and Canadian businesses through a pandemic and came out strong. We have we're taking care of our industries at this critical time. They
increased our debt by $300 billion.
Thank you. I will have to stop that, but it does conclude the debate on this question. So I do invite Beth Prochaska to finish it with a 30-second reply.
Again, as per usual, I don't hear anything from either of the other two candidates, though anything substantive of what's going to happen to the workers. I'm hearing about industry, and yes, if we put money into industry, then in theory, that's going to help boost our workforce. But quite often, when money is put into industry, it doesn't trickle down to the average Canadian. So that's what my concern is.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Question number 3. This one goes to Bruce Fanjoy of the Liberal Party, who will have 45 seconds to respond. The question is, we hear discussions about reducing barriers that hinder and in some cases prevent interprovincial trade. What would the implications be for the riding of Carleton, for Ontario, and for Canada? You'll have 45 seconds to respond.
For too long, Canada has had 13 economies, and this has limited mobility. This has limited the ability of our own entrepreneurs and our industries to sell to other Canadians. Even right here in Carleton, we're next door to a very large market in Quebec. And there are restrictions that prevent trade there. This crisis, as a result of Donald Trump's tariffs, is compelling Canada under the leadership of Mark Carney to knock those barriers down so that we become one economy, not 13.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll open the floor for the candidates to debate. You'll have 2 minutes.
Look, I started a company called Dunrobin Distilleries in the riding in Dunrobin. And, you know, we were a small craft distillery. It was easier for me to ship our alcohol overseas than it was to ship products to Quebec, to ship products to Alberta. That is a broken system. And the Liberals and the Conservatives are part of creating that mess that we are in right now. Now that we have a crisis, now they want to change things.
The federal government is not responsible for 13 economies in Canada. This has been implemented by the 13 provincial and territorial jurisdictions, and the federal government is taking that down.
Well, it's about time that we take it down, because our healthcare, our education system, many parts of our economy, our electrical grid is all being squashed and suppressed, and huge opportunities are being missed.
If Canada is to
become self-sufficient, we need to eliminate the barriers between these provinces.
That's why we require serious leadership, people who have accomplished things in their lives, and Mark Carney and the Liberal team will provide that.
Yes, and so will Elizabeth May and Jonathan Trudeau, perhaps the best Prime Minister we've never had yet.
All I would say is the NDP is supporting breaking down these barriers as well. And I think, again, I will keep insisting that anything that we do as far as that goes will be with the average Canadian worker in mind.
Mm-hmm. On that, we can agree.
Well, that's great, and that concludes the debate on this question. So I will invite Bruce Fanjoy. You can reply for the last 30 seconds.
You know, we're at a critical moment in our history, and I think it's going to be ultimately a great moment for Canada. We have to reduce our dependence on an unreliable partner. We have to expand our relationships around the world, and we have to do a better job of opening up our markets for our businesses and taking care of our workers, so that we can make Canada strong.
Thank you. Thank you. Question number 4. This goes to Mark Watson first, who will have 45 seconds to respond. The demand for affordable housing is very high across Canada. How will you help our citizens achieve their dream of home ownership? Mark Watson, you will have 45 seconds to respond.
Housing is number 2 on the list of our hierarchy of needs. Shelter. We all need shelter. And this housing crisis has become an incredible demotivating problem for a lot of Canadians. The Green Party has got a great program where we want to build national affordable housing from coast to coast. This is high density housing where we strip away the profits from the developers, where we have connection to local public transportation, access to parks, access to community centers, and affordable living so that you Canadians can get ahead.
Thank you. I'll open the floor for the debate.
The NDP is understanding that housing is, as you said, one of the top couple of issues that we're hearing from people at the doors when we are knocking on the doors. The NDP is standing up and saying that the government needs to get more involved directly in home construction. We know that there are still many houses standing that were built during wartime for veterans coming home, and those were built by the Canadian government, and they were affordable and they're still affordable. And that's what the NDP is standing up for, to make sure that that corporations don't buy up multiple houses, and that jacks up the prices for the average person, and to also make sure that they get more involved in building houses themselves so that we can keep things affordable for
the
people.
Liberal government has got back in the business of building homes, and Beth, you brought up the post-World War building of Victory Homes, and those were beautiful homes. They were accessible homes, particularly for young families, and we can do the same. And the Liberal government is making historic investments to make that happen. These homes need to be affordable. They need to be accessible so that people can enter into the housing market.
Let me ask you this. You know, you guys talk about using Canadian building materials. How is it after 40 years we're still selling raw logs overseas, exporting one of our key resources? These logs should be value added in Canada. We need to be creating lumber jobs in our communities and build houses with Canadian lumber as opposed to exporting raw logs.
Of course,
overseas.
we are building houses with Canadian lumber.
Start building plants in our communities, including Carleton, where we can have solar panel plants, heat pump plants, using Canadian steel, Canadian aluminum, Canadian technology.
Unlike Pierre Poilievre, I have built a home in Carleton.
Thank you.
I built it with Canadian lumber and solar panels.
Great, and I will stop the debate with that, but I will give you the last 30 seconds to close this question. Sorry, Mark Watson.
Yes, for too long, you know, we've been talking about building houses, but there's been no real solutions. The Green Party has got a plan. If you take a look at the Singapore HDB model, this is a proven model that has been developed, that has provided very affordable funding of housing at cost, and allows people to move ahead, have home ownership, and
Are we almost done?
get into that real estate market. And this is what we are going to support, and we're going to make it happen for Canadians.
Thank you very much. We have taken up quite a bit of time already, so we are going to have a rapid question where each of you will have 30 seconds to respond. And I am going to just close my eyes and pick one. No, I'm just joking. Okay. This is a big one for each of you, 30 seconds, and I will give you a few seconds to think about it. And the first question will go to you. You will be able to respond, Beth. Climate change and its effects are an important issue for Canadians. How do you propose to address climate change in Canada? And I will give you 30 seconds to respond, and then we'll go to each leader after.
Okay. We can all agree that this is an incredibly important topic, and it has been for years, and it has been ignored for years. We have taken away the carbon tax, but we need to tax industry that is creating greenhouse gases. We need to tax those industries more so that we can use that money to invest in new forms of energy that are not destroying the environment.
Thank you. Bruce Fanjoy.
First of all, the Liberal government has done more to address climate change than any government in Canadian history. There is still more to be done. This is a problem that we need to address now. Beth is quite right. We've been too slow, but now's the time for action. And Pierre Poilievre, who couldn't even be bothered to show up, is a climate change denier. We will deal with this.
Thank you very much. And Mark Watson, you'll have 30 seconds.
Yeah, the first thing the Green Party is going to do is we're going to stop subsidizing the fossil fuel economy to the tune of $30 billion, which is completely unacceptable. We're going to be investing in clean technology. We're going to be building a national backbone from east to west that basically provides clean energy, delivers clean energy from Newfoundland all the way to British Columbia, that harvests solar, that harvests wind, and that allows us to transition and create a pile of new green technology, well-paid jobs.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your answers. We will now go to closing remarks, where each of you will have a minute for your closing remarks, and we'll go in the reverse order in which we started. So that will start us off with Bruce Fanjoy from the Liberal Party. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. Carleton has an opportunity to make Canadian history in this election by rejecting Pierre Poilievre's destructive brand of negative politics. and instead replacing it with a hardworking representative in Parliament. I'll be present while Pierre Poilievre is absent. I'll look for solutions where he only sees problems. I've already spoken to thousands of residents in Carleton and listened to them while he talks in meaningless slogans. Our hundreds of volunteers include lifelong Conservatives, New Democrats, and Green Party supporters, and people who have never put up a lawn sign before in their lives are doing so now. They want change, and I need everyone to hear this. We have a chance to defeat Pierre Poilievre and stand up to Donald Trump, but we can only do that if every one of us, people who believe in buying Canadian, people who want to make life cost less, and people who believe in fighting climate change and building a strong economy, get out and vote together.
Thank you very much. Beth Prochaska from the New Democratic Party, you will have 1 minute to respond.
Thank you. For the last couple of decades, we've seen how working-class Canadians have been ignored by both the Conservatives and the Liberal governments. I agree with Mr. Fanjoy that Mr. Poilievre needs to be defeated, but I would argue that the NDP is the perfect party to take his seat. It is unlikely that our party will form government. I think we have to, go there. But every NDP candidate, every NDP MP that is at the table will be fighting for the average Canadian, and we need those progressive voices at the table in Parliament.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mark Watson from the Green Party, you will have 1 minute for your closing statement. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everyone for participating in this debate and for the audience for listening to this, and thank Rogers for hosting it as well. I'm not a professional politician who has spent his entire career playing politics. I'm an entrepreneur with a long and solid track record of building companies, creating jobs, and a deep commitment to building a better future for us all. Unlike Pierre Poilievre, who only offers negative slogans and couldn't be bothered to show up today and stand up for democracy, I'm here in person, standing up for what I believe is right, standing up, ready to provide real solutions for you and the people of Carleton. Canada is the master of its own destiny, and our strength as a trading nation must be built on a sustainable foundation of self-sufficiency and resiliency. Canada is a multicultural beacon of democracy in this troubled world. Let us build on our peacekeeping legacy and lead by example by charting a sustainable green vision for the future. On April 28th, please vote for Mark Watson. Thank you.
Thank you. I thank all of you for attending this debate. It means a lot to all the viewers that you took the time, you represented your riding, and you did such a great job doing that very much. Again, we did invite all candidates to join. Some are missing from this debate. And if you'd like to reach out to any one of these candidates, they're very open for communication, and you've heard their platforms. And I want to thank you. Make sure you mark your dates, April 28th for voting day. But I again want to thank Rogers Television and everyone who's behind the scenes that have made this possible to allow all our candidates across Ontario to take the time to speak for Canada. Have a great day.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
In baseball, there's nothing more important than making it home.
George Springer has tied the game.
Doesn't matter how you get there.
It's gone!
But I do it with style.
Boy, has he got some kind of power.
And a little swagger, too.
Because no matter where you happen to be,
Oh, what a play!
There's only one place.
Got it!
Jays fans call home.